We had been on the trail for about a week and still had no real idea of what to expect. Jeff intentionally avoided spoilers by not watching any TA videos from the Longwoods on. We had heard stories from Sobos we met, but we took them with a grain of salt since everyone's experience can be different, and they had been hiking for months. After feeling the grind of the first stretch of the trail, and knowing that the dramatic change of scenery was coming, we tamped down our budding dread and braced for the mud and the mountains. That's where we slept last night. Over there. There's Jeff. We're ready. Here's the car park. There's the trailhead. Our first glimpse of the forest, Long Hilly Track, was beautiful and felt like respite after our exposed walks along the coast and roads. That respite, however, changed after a couple of hours. Our challenging ascents began, and we are convinced that we were baptized by mud. After that moment of sinking into the mud that went past our knees, I swear that we were officially inducted as TA hikers in that moment.
These hills were an old gold mine area from late 1800s, and in the middle of the trail you'll see a couple of entrances to the mines. So it definitely pays to keep a heads up. Otherwise it would be make for an interesting day, I guess. Here we have a nice muddy spot. Sarah must decide how to proceed.
Wasted in the tangles of time.
We appreciate the people who stopped caring.
This is where we stopped for lunch. We are getting a true baptism by mud today.
Jeff found this stofa seat so comfy.
This is our first day in the forest for sure. It is very muddy and uphill the whole way, so it's fun.
And I know for the next few days we won't have running we won't have showers or laundry.
We'll go to our first hut tonight.
Yeah.
Can't wait. Hiking in the Longwoods was also our first section in an actual forest. We started meeting more Sobo hikers and exchanged tips with them for what to expect ahead. We are having our first semi-hut experience.
In our tent.
This hut was built in 1904, only has 4 bunks, and there's 70 people here.
Feels good to be done.
Sarah's still trying to avoid it. She's avoiding her fate. Alright, so way down yonder, on the other side of that hill, over the bay, that's Bluff. So we started in Bluff, and we made it all the way around that beach, climbed that little baby hill there, climbed all the way over here to the beach on the other side of this hill, and now we're on top of this one. We're like 63 miles in, give or take.
How many kilometers?
This is a video specifically for Americans. Somebody wants kilometers, they're gonna have to subscribe to somebody else.
We'll put it in a description or something. Pretty cool. Can't believe we walked all of that. On my left.
Hello.
Hello there.
So we've reached our first reflection point. We are on day 6.
I think I have reflection points every day. Every like minute.
Well, literally we can look back and see how far we've come. So, if you, I don't know, not sure if you can see it over our shoulder, but Bluff is just over there. Yeah, we walked 63-ish miles.
Coastline.
Yeah. So some of the quick recaps from us. There's no water up until Martin's Hut, pretty much.
Which is how many days of hiking? 4?
Yeah, 4 days of hiking,
Yeah,
other
no
than
water.
at the campsites and the lodges, in the towns and people's houses.
People's houses, yeah. Thanks,
No-
Shane.
Yeah, thank you, Shane. That's the only places to get water. We packed way too much stuff as normal.
We knew that would happen, but it just sucked. You're like, why did I think I needed this? Or like, I told Jeff months ago, like, I need a Z-pack. He's like, no, your pack's great. It took me like 5 packs to find one that works.
So
it was a very fair point.
We're gonna reassess everything once we get to either Te Anau or Queenstown.
Yeah. Our sleeping bags even, which are great. They keep you warm.
Yeah, very comfortable.
But we're like, maybe we could
Anyways, to lighten the load, we might try it.
Yeah. And for those of you thinking, why didn't you do that before? We did. Ish. But
it could have been heavier.
Once you're backpacking, and we backpacked with this, but it just makes you rethink everything.
Well, another thing leads into another thing we learned on Te Araroa is the trails are rough.
Yeah.
Definitely more tramping than hiking. We, especially today, or not today, well, today is bad, but yesterday was worse. So climb straight up the mountain, no switchbacks, very rough terrain, and just mud for days.
So much mud.
Slowed us way down. We were averaging like a mile an hour.
I wish you recorded like parts where I got stuck or hit my head multiple times on branches because I'm trying to avoid
trying to look down
sinking.
at the mud, and then you forget that there's branches, and cause some headaches. Yeah, I think that's it for me.
Yeah. It hasn't been that long, but I really want nachos. Like I really miss showers, but I did find this one stream had like a big enough pool, and I was able to take a dip in that. So that does feel like a shower, and that was nice.
Mm-hmm.
But we're in good spirits.
Mm-hmm. The trail has not defeated us.
No, it's not. I hope it wouldn't this early. But apparently, like the way we're starting going northbound, some of the worst parts are the early parts.
Yeah, a lot of road walking.
Yeah.
A lot of areas with no water, and then this is the muddiest track on the South Island.
I'm getting rid of the gators after today.
They do basically nothing.
I mean, they're helping, but if this is the worst part of the mud, I don't need this weight.
Yeah.
I am getting rid of as many grams as possible after this stretch.
Feeling pretty good. We've got about 15 miles left to go today, so we'll wrap this up. Wish you all the best.
Although it's muddy, the forest is beautiful. We keep meeting great people. Again, since we're going northbound, seeing the Sobo people, seeing them like being done in a couple days is really cool.
Yeah.
And we're gonna keep going until I think another few days until we hit a town.
Mm-hmm.
And our pack's just gonna keep getting lighter after every meal, so we'll be good.
Yeah. Alrighty. Peace.
Bye. Cool. Look at this brave soul.
See if I can get out.
I went through that shrubbery. Oh.
Embrace the mud. The mud will never let you down. Protects your legs from bugs.
That's true.
I have been fully baptized.
And we continue on.
Anything you want to say to your audience?
Are you recording? This looks so mystical. It's beautiful.
I think videos really do it justice.
So beautiful. But my world doesn't feel gross. It does. In the forest, we quickly became acquainted with wet socks and shoes. On the flip side, we got to enjoy shaded lunch breaks in what felt like a mossy wonderland. I had my first river dip on the trail, which felt exhilarating. I usually ease into cold water, but took the plunge, and it was freezing yet awesome. Throughout our hike, this became a new habit of mine that I really loved, to my surprise.
In the first week, we trekked from the Wavves straightened bluff and into the woods with all the mud that the Longwood Forest has to offer, as well as the ascents with 360-degree views. It was cool to see the distance we trekked along the coast to where we were standing at that very moment.
When we approached the quarry from the forest, we met these kind men who were riding on dirt bikes. They offered us anything and everything that they had, and when I mentioned that we keep meeting friendly Kiwis who ask if we're okay, he said, "There's absolutely nothing out here. All we have is each other, so you have to lend a hand." Never did I think that we would be offered drugs in the middle of nowhere, but we did accept the water that they offered, and we continued our long walk ahead.
One night we were not able to make it to the next hut and instead camped alongside the trail by a stream. Back home we call it stealth camping. I remember lying in bed thinking to myself, there are no bears here, there are no bears here. Wait a minute, I didn't think that. I didn't write this. That was Sarah. Anyways, it felt borderline dangerous camping at a spot not intended for that. We're programmed to be in designated spots in case of bears, but in reality, this spot was not wildly different than other intended camp spots along the trail.
After leaving the forest, we hiked through farmland among sheep and cows. Since I've lived in a suburb or city for most of my life, it is quite the change to go from only being around pets to walking alongside farm animals that I rarely saw before. I can attest that walking down a pasture was much more painful than I could have ever imagined. Walking backwards and finding my rhythm through fits of rage or complete calmness was a very interesting balance.
Our first day in the Takitimu Mountains was amazing. The last 2 days in the mountains, however, were intense with rain, long days, and tall tussock. We were lucky to have sunshine on our first day when we walked along the ridgeline. It was a gratifying feeling to hike up a mountain with moments that felt like rock climbing and then reaching the top with panoramic views. Those spots always make for the best lunch breaks.
We had our first true hut experience during this section and continued to meet hikers from different parts of the world. One of the aspects I enjoyed the most about this new culture of through hiking that we were becoming a part of was how we got to know people. Unlike typical small talk, we did not start with where we work, what we studied, or industry talk. It was really refreshing to listen to what people enjoy about the outdoors, what inspires them, and what motivated them to hike the entire length of New Zealand.
Okay.
I take a lot of
I think my
pills.
feelings are a tiny bit better. They're not hurting so much.
We're talking about her pain.
It's really painful.
Oh, I'm sliding.
This trail eats your soul.
It does.
I just want to die. But it is nice to have the sun on my face.
It
I
is.
die because I'm a hamburger again.
Believe it or not,
Here.
I really want Taco Bell.
Oh, Taco Bell.
Rumor has it there's some Taco Bells on this island, and we're gonna get it. We're hoping to
Eventually
get
at
it
one point.
in Queenstown.
Even if we have to hitchhike. Oh, I just want someone to amputate my feet.
Send us
have
all the
a saw
healing
on my-
vibes.
On my,
We don't believe in trail legs anymore, but
trowel.
we'll see how we feel in one more
I can
week.
saw it off for you.
Bye.
We used to have to build them in Boy Scouts. We called them monkey bridges.
Why are you standing here in the rain, Charlie Brown?
Got out of the Takitimu Mountains alive with just enough sunlight to hitch a ride into town. We felt challenged mentally and physically and were definitely on our last leg of functioning. However, we never thought to ourselves or spoke aloud about stopping the trek. We trusted in our 0 days in town and took full advantage of having a couch, electricity, and hot meals that were not dehydrated. Sarah, how do you feel about the tussock?
I hate it.
Why do you hate it?
I could have worn my rain pants. I didn't.
You would-
Alas, it looks like it's raining because all my pants are completely soaked.
You would miss the experience though.
No. Within just 2 weeks, we changed our plans 3 times. We stealth camped for the first time and hiked at night with our headlamps, which we didn't think would happen until later on the trail. We also hitchhiked for the very first time in our lives and hiked in relentless rain through tussocks that felt just as terrifying as walking through a cornfield. At one of our first huts named Birchwood, we met a fellow NoBo hiker who we hiked with until April and made a new dear friend. So much happened within our first 2 weeks that we didn't realize until looking back just how influential that first week really was.
A little rain never caused me trouble. You can keep the days where it's nice and sunny. I'll be outside just jumping in the puddle.
So go ahead and let it rain, let it rain. Go ahead and let it rain on me. I'm from the city where it rains, but I don't ever let the rain stop me.
Cats and dogs dropping on the sidewalk, walking through the puddles, about to muddy up my socks and galoshes. Summer sun swallowed by that gray sky. Come outside and play like kids, running like some cops and robbers. Yo, I left without the yellow coat or checking the umbrella stand. Arms out like an airplane, noise of a propeller fan. I'm lost in the moment. The noise and the commotion finna wash away my troubles till my soul feeling hella damp. Tell your man.